Well, today we're looking at the top model in the Escalade line. It's the Platinum Edition, and it's easy to spot compared to the regular Escalade because it gets some nice upgrades. First of all, 22-inch wheels that are painted but also have chrome inserts. But the most noticeable feature is the oversized unique grille on the Platinum version that really does make a statement. And when you put that big grille in and frame it with the beautiful light package that Cadillac has on the Escalade and the sharp lines down the side, it really is a vehicle that gets noticed. There's nothing else on the road that looks like an Escalade, and now with this latest model it's even more pronounced. Around the back you get the beautiful lights as well that go basically from the top to the bottom of the rear of the vehicle, and it definitely pops when you see it. A big feature that's very handy is the power step to get in. I've had this vehicle for 2 weeks and my family has been using it along with me, and we have just grown to love the steps, but also some features on the inside that I'd had first-hand experience using, and I want to point them out. Now with this Platinum Edition, you get some nice upgrades. First of all, a full leather interior. Everything that looks like leather, the aluminum, suede, is the real deal. The interior of all new modern Cadillacs is hand cut and sewn interiors, and they do a beautiful job of taking essentially what is, say, a Suburban and turning it into a Cadillac. Also, the front seats have a massage feature. They're heated and cooled, and heated rear seats with bucket seats in the back seat. So that's all nice stuff, but you pay for it, and we'll get to the price at the end. Now, all Cadillacs get the Q system, which is the swipe feature with a haptic feedback, and I'm not really loving it. After spending 2 weeks with this vehicle, it shows a lot of fingerprints and isn't as easy and intuitive as some of the other General Motors divisions. Chevrolet has the MyLink system. There's all kinds of different products that General Motors does that I think are better than this. Now, here's the thing. Recently had a chance to drive the Cadillac CT6, and they're going back to redundant sort of buttons and switches and getting away from the swipe feature. They also have a trackpad like you would see with an Audi, for example. And I think that that interior from the CT6 is probably going to migrate into other Cadillac products. I went camping with my son. I was out in the middle of the woods, literally, and there was no cell service, there was no Wi-Fi service. The only way I could get to the outside world was through this Cadillac. So several times through the day I'd get in, I'd start it up, and I had full LTE connectivity and super fast downloads for my phone. So it worked really well. So why would I not get the cell service and get the 4G hotspot working? Well, this has a much bigger antenna in the roof compared to the very small antenna that is in your mobile phone. So it worked perfectly. In addition to that, one of the kids slipped and split his whole leg open, and we had to drive him to the hospital the very first day we were there. So I had brought my car, this car, the Escalade, and so we drove him to the hospital, but I didn't know where the hospital was. So we went to OnStar. OnStar asked if we needed an ambulance. We said no. They gave us the directions, and they sent the directions right through to the car with turn-by-turn navigation. That's amazing stuff. So all this stuff you hear from General Motors, the 4G hotspot, the OnStar, it all works. And I'm really glad that I had the LTE hotspot where I couldn't get it on my phones. All stuff that really does work. Now, this Escalade is built off a pickup truck platform. General Motors, Sierra, and Silverado pickup trucks are smooth and quiet, and they put a top hat on that looks like a Cadillac Escalade, and that's really what you've got here. You can also get the GMC versions, the Chevrolet versions, but this is the top dog, and because of that, it gets the top engine, a 6.2-liter V8 engine. We'll get to the power and everything in just a moment. What you also get with the Cadillac is what's called magnetic ride control. It's a system that samples the road up to 1,000 times a second and adjusts the suspension up to 100 times per second. And this vehicle has two settings. It's got this normal setting and then more of a performance sporty setting. And the difference between the two is marginal at best. And it's the one thing I really want to stress about this vehicle. If you're looking for the smoothest luxury large SUV, this probably isn't for you. You're going to want to go to a vehicle that has like an air suspension, maybe the GLS or Mercedes-Benz or a Range Rover, because this vehicle has a bit of a firm, bumpy ride, not too dissimilar to a pickup truck, because that's what it's based on. But what it also affords you is the option to have up to 7 people inside the vehicle, and to tow 8,300 pounds. And that's why the engine is tuned for torque more than power. It is 420 horsepower, but 460 pound-feet of torque to be able to tow. Now, in order to get good fuel economy, Cadillac has done some great tricks. First of all, it's got an 8-speed automatic transmission where it used to have a 6-speed. It also has cylinder management, which means it can switch off half of the 8 cylinders to run on just 4 cylinders. And driving at 100 kilometers an hour, roughly 60 miles an hour, this engine is only turning over at 1,500 RPM. And under light load, half of the cylinders switch off, which means you can get some pretty incredible fuel economy. So as I mentioned, I did over 1,000-kilometer run in this vehicle, and I averaged between city and highway driving 13.3 liters per 100 kilometers. That's amazing for a full-size vehicle. We had 4 people in here, we had all of our stuff in the back, and it got 13.3 liters per 100 kilometers. That's pretty amazing fuel economy for a big, full-size, truck-based SUV. So this Escalade really is a statement product. It starts at $84,000. The one you see here, $104 grand. Now, I look at this vehicle and say, yeah, you want to have a big, luxurious SUV and you need to tow and you have a big family. I kind of opt for the less expensive models. But you know what? The less expensive models still have all the great features that I like. The 4G connectivity, the OnStar, the 6.2-liter engine, the magnetic ride control, the cylinder management system that gets you amazing fuel consumption considering the size of the vehicle. So all of those features are baked into every Escalade. If you want, you can also get the GMC Denali, which has a lot of the same features. So if you're going to go for this Platinum Edition, it really is to make a statement, and it does.